Two-possession game inside Worthen Arena. Combs rises three. Give it to him. Back to a one-point game.
Points that allowed her to be Geneva's leading scorer all time.
Byers spots up for three and rattles it home. Ball State wants to run. Persons with a full head of steam. Outside Kiapaway. You betcha. Jose off the bounce. Got to the high post and finished. Hit well into the gap of center and left, but a diving stop by Brown. Denacia Christian trying to seal the first conference win of the year for Ball State. A senior on senior day and a two-time MAC floor champion. One of the most efficient rebounders in the Mid-American Conference grabs the rebound. Kiapaway with a bounce to Moses. A combination of some excellent hitting by Ohio and some struggling hitting by Ball State. An 11-6 set 2 lead and the first kill for Goodsell of the evening. It's the holiday season, and tonight in Muncie, Ball State and Urbana will square off in Worthen Arena for the second consecutive year. It's women's college basketball, and it's here on ESPN3. And with that, we welcome you courtside and say a happy holidays to you alongside former Ball State Cardinal and Shelby Murder, Tyler Bradfield on hand. Well, these two teams squared off last year in this very same venue with Worthen Arena. However, far different circumstances. Last year was a preseason exhibition game between the two. Tonight, the final regular season non-conference game for Ball State. It was their second worst season in program history, but they do return senior guard and Sarah Dickey, a three-time all-conference performer. What challenges does she present Ball State tonight? Offensively, Ball State needed to shore a couple of things up, especially coming back from what happened against Western Kentucky in the past couple of games. Your evaluation, does the defense look okay? Do they need to make some adjustments? This was the matchup for the Mid-American Conference Championship, Ball State and Akron. But fast forward 4 seasons, and these two teams on two opposite ends of the standings. Akron's off to an 0-4 start. Ball State's off to a 3-1 start, but that 0-4 start for Akron, Shelby, relatively deceiving. One thing that they have done, especially on the defensive end, has been able to keep Sarah Dickey in check. The leading scorer for this Evansville team, a 3-time all-conference player. How have they been able to do it defensively? Monaco struggled to find her shot against Central Michigan, especially from outside of the arc. She finished the game just 3 of 12 in the loss on Wednesday. It was her lowest shooting performance from outside of the arc in 6 games. Her previous 3, had been on the best stretch of the season, shooting 55% from outside of the arc.
I talked about Jill Morrison developing that mentality of, you know, when shots aren't going in, you have to find other ways to do that. You see Mariah slowly coming into that. You know, when shots aren't falling, she's doing other things. She's rebounding. Her rebound numbers have gone up. You know, she's passing the ball a little better. She's running the floor, trying to get those types of looks. So as a shooter, you have to do that in order to be more dynamic and be a threat in other ways.
And those rebound numbers, almost 8 rebounds per game over the last 4. She averages 6, plus 2 on the boards over the past 4 games.
Eight turnovers for Ball State.
18 total for the game between these two. This is Edmonds, a very sneaky, quick player, but misses off the window. Well defended by Grande. Offensive foul on Frazier. You talk about her energy, but sometimes that works in reverse. And high energy player, plays very quick, very strong. Sometimes that's the downside, a little out of control going to the cup.
Yeah, and you're going to get that, especially with how intense she plays all the time. Now, let her regroup, you know, sit down, have the coaches talk to her a little bit. She'll come right back in when they need her, and she'll provide a little bit more of that energy when, you know, there's not as much on the floor. She has her role on the team, and Coach Brady does a great job of utilizing the strengths that she has.
See Morrison face guarding Plyden. That was the plan that Ball State defensively wanted to do.
Another block. She is so long down there and just alters shots.
That's her 10th block of the season. The freshman out of McWanago, Wisconsin. She's see shades of what Renee Bennett looked like as a freshman.
She's going to be a nice player for Ball State when she develops that mentality and the physicality of being a post player. And if she can shoot like that already as a freshman.
Well, I made the comparison to Renee Bennett. That looked more like you, Shelby Murder, as a post player.
That looked a little nicer, I think.
The only thing that would have made it better had it gone in.
Yes.
That's just her first 3 attempt of the season. She's only attempted 12 shots on the year, 13 now with that 3.
Being a freshman and being in her shoes right now, you know, I remember how much confidence you needed to have in order to even pull the trigger on a shot like that. So I give credit to her for making it look that great and just making it look so fluid.
She's seen a lot of minutes here in the second quarter with an obvious height advantage at 6'5", going against a 5'11" Ricketts, and you see it pay off right there.
Coach Sally looks very satisfied with that move.
Akron hasn't had a field goal in the last 4 minutes as Ball State's extended their lead. Biggest of the game at 7. Off the screen, Sefcik launches 3, misses short. Morrison trying to make this a double-figure lead.
Credit that to Carmen Grande. Pushing the tempo and looking opposite. She was on that opposite side, but always had her head up, finding that shooter on the opposite side of the floor. That makes it harder for the defense to adjust, especially in transition, to close out on a shooter like that, coming all the way across the court.
And the issues continue to compound for Akron. Cruz called for a travel inside.
Coach Patterson working with the guards, I remember in my head hearing slice the floor to all of his guards. As soon as they start pushing the ball in transition, they want to slice it across the court, get to that opposite side, hopefully shift the defense and have action on the opposite side.
Gave Grande her 5th assist of the afternoon. A team high, averaging the 4th most in the country up to this point. She can shoot from outside. What a nice little stretch for the sophomore point guard out of Madrid, Spain. She has 7 and 5 assists, and Ball State has their biggest lead.
Ball State shooting 62% from the field, as opposed to Akron's 34, a little under 35%.
Grande into the lane, gives up Jose!
That's hard to guard. That is hard to guard.
A 15-0 run by Ball State. 2 minutes to go into the locker room, and a timeout to Jody Kest of Akron.